Today I want to talk about the process in general, the process as in the daily practice, the technique, the methodology, the teachings, the teacher, the programs, self-improvement, self-help, diets, the spiritual process, the healing, all that stuff. Because I am noticing and observing this overlay of the process over the self. And you might say, well, that's easy. I know what a process is, and I know myself. Well, what's interesting, this observation is that this transparency is very, very high in the most intelligent people. And again, it's just an observation. It's not a standardization. It's not a, but I'm just saying how subtle this thing is. Because the more education a person has, right? We're talking masters, PhDs, specializations, things like that. The more we identify so closely because the training works, right? The process works. And it's so easy to not see the difference. So what do I mean? What exactly am I? So I'm going to break it down. Because when we start to entrust, we're willingly giving our trust away into something, someone. We are abandoning the trust. We're giving power away from us. And it becomes easier to entrust more and more, to the point that we cannot identify between the two. We cannot compare. It becomes one. And so I get it, because if you're working with these processes, with standardizations, it is another step up from all this conditioning that we're already born into, right? And then finally, you're given this project to create something on your own accord, to come up with a solution, to invent something, right? As a solution, that work is being compared, dissected. The committee, the manager, something outside of us will then validate the work. So you're constantly living on this outside. You're constantly living in the process, matching, validating. Oh, but wait, there's the award. If you do this, you are being awarded. In spirituality, oh, but now you're enlightened, right? You reach this level of arrival if you follow this breath work and this meditation and this healing thing. So you see how it's all the same. And it's almost like when we're talking spiritual practices, it's even easier to give that power away. It's even because, well, many times we're desperate, and that person is a teacher, they're a guru, they're enlightened, they have the PhD, they have the certification, they can lead me, and I don't know anything. I don't know myself. I'm going into that. I'm putting my power into this process. You get what I'm getting to. When we do that, we literally create an abandonment. So I'm gonna use this example of meditation. I was talking to this person, and I could see, right? They were thinking that they are this dedicated person to the process, and now they have to meditate all the time. And I got it. I was there. I know exactly what they're talking about. I was the most dedicated, disciplined process follower when life started to press against me, right? My kids were young. We were remodeling this house. I was moving into management, so the stresses were combining, they were accelerating. In my mind, perfection had to be, I was following this ideal perfection. Our food was the most cleanest, sugar intake. And I had a garden. Oh my God, I had to have 50 tomato plants and do all these canning and freezing, and everything was homemade. And so in order to keep up with life oppressing me from all directions, I became a well-oiled machine in my processes. I would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do my breath work, and my breath work was timed and precise. And I had these journals where I would track my progress, and my meditations were for this brainwave and this brainwave, and it was guided in this sense. And I know exactly, I'm in alpha 2, then I'm moving into theta. Can I reach delta today? All this stuff. But you have to understand that type of discipline is a resource, very masculine. If it's not balanced with the feminine, you're going to just run out. And that's exactly what happened to me. I ran out of that resource. I crashed. I quit my job. And I had this very forceful Kundalini flamenco dance happen to me. And then, of course, the pendulum has to swing in the opposite direction. And I used my anger, my fury, even though it wasn't very largely displayed, because the suffering and the sorrow and the agony that I was in, all the chakras were open, the stuff that was coming out of them, was a lot to take in. And so, but still, the way I displayed my anger is to deny and to reject all teachers, all processes, and to turn just in myself. And I understand now that anger was actually my mechanism, my tool to take back my power. Does it have to be so intense? Does it have to be so, extreme? No, it can be done with so much more gentleness. It can be done with so much more nourishment inside, just by questioning these processes. Why am I doing what am I doing? From what place am I entering meditation today? Am I abandoning my other parts? And I'm purposely, this is the addiction part. I can rationalize anything, right? But I can also observe my rationalization. And I can easily observe if I'm in addiction, that I can see, oh yes, I'm definitely rationalizing. I'm definitely, what's another, I'm using my practice as a distraction, because as long as I'm doing something, I don't have to actually sit with my true self. I don't have to question, oh, but what does my body need today? Oh, but who am I today? That is the true connection to the self. But instead, it's easier because you know what? I really mastered this technique of this specific meditation, and I'm following this process, but now it's truly a distraction. And when we come into that clarity with gentleness, I invite you to go into that, then the parts that are screaming possibly louder and louder can be invited into the true space, and we start to bring our power in ourselves. Do we have to now abandon the process and get mad at all these teachers? No. But now that you have reached this level of mastery, you can take that process that has brought you here, you can honor it the way it was, and you can ask yourself, how do I modify the process with who it is that is presenting itself today? Can I take the same meditation and modify it to me? So now when I'm asked, how do you know? What process? What is the style of meditation? This used to be a really clear conversation whatever, 3 years, 5 years ago. I'm doing this exact specific meditation with this beats and whatever else. And now I'm like, well, what is meditation? Driving to the store is meditation. This video is my meditation. My Muay Thai is my new yoga. Like, I don't know what, like, I have to think about, like, because do I work on myself every day? Yes, but it's not the same way. And guess what? There are days when I need to go back to my discipline, but it lasts 2 to 3 days, and then I'm back into my freedom. I found that flow again. And most importantly, I gave up this perfection. How it looks, these definitions are killing us. And then if we're not matching to that definition to get the reward of that process, then the judgment comes through. And we're adding layers of processes and judgment. That's what we're doing. And we're so entrenched into it. And again, it's like, I swear, it's like the smartest people that I know. The trap, and oh my God, this last session, it was exactly like that, because, and again, I don't want to fall into the conspiracy theories and fall into duality, but as an observation, it's like, I see how this process and these titles are on purpose. They are grabbing into the most capable of minds and trapping them into this specific prison. I'm going to use a very strong word. They think that they're the most free, they're most capable, but these rewards that they're getting, right? And again, not as a judgment. I'm just observing this session, and I'm observing the specific process that we were working on as a claw. And it was so transparent. But I'm like, oh, I see it. It's there. And it's amazing how clever, how masked it is. Because it had to be so for us to willingly, yeah, here's my power. Tell me, please, I'm coming to you. Please solve my problem. I'm entrusting you to see in me and to tell me exactly what to do. So now the invitation is, please question why you're doing this. Who are you today? And don't throw everything away, but take the process, take the teaching, bring it into you and adjust it. What is it in that process today that this person that is present today within awareness can benefit, can play, can expand into? And this judgment that it has to be always bliss, that is so crap. Bliss, like, I understand a little bit better, because I can be in this sorrow and I can be all right. I can be grateful. The sorrow is not, it's coming from my body. It's coming from the dissolvement of another egoic definition, something, an egoic structure that I have. And the more I'm allowing that to be there, I can be in this non-judgment and I can be okay with it. Am I in bliss? No, but you know what? I am not betraying myself. am I doing this consistently? Am I doing it in this perfection? No, many times I'm coming from addiction, because it's like, ding ding ding, here's another addictive pattern right in front of you. I'm marching to that beat. I'm displaying these patterns. All right, sit myself back down. But it's okay, because after a while, this betrayal, this me abandoning myself, feels violent. So now I have aspects where if I'm coming in contact with a certain behavior, I'm like, ouch, that's literally hurtful. So I have the ability, the sensitivity, the capacity within myself in the moment to rectify. Let me say that again. Did I say yes? I'm going to say no. Or the other way around. I said no, but you know what? No, that's my old self. I'm going to say yes to that, right? Because all of a sudden I spoke it and I felt the violence that reverberated because I betrayed myself. And so getting to that sensitivity level with all these parts of ourselves, it's a practice, but it's a practice from presence. It's a practice from today. I'm listening to you as an inspiration. I'm not giving you my power because I'm hopeless or whatever it is. I can be in my agony, but I'm empowered in my agony. And that's really the difference between victim and non-victim. Creator mode. Life is not perfect as creator mode. And actually, you know what? Life is not perfect as enlightened, as a master. Keep your gold medal. That's how it is. It's like that dopamine does not impress me any longer. I'm not chasing this process to get enlightened. And that's kind of what enlightenment is. You're liberating yourself from some stupid process. It's like, yeah, I'm finally free. I'm finally my own in nature. I'm finally myself. Do I participate in this movement? Yeah, I participate in a movement. Am I perfectly enlightened? I am the Buddha. Well, whatever. I don't know. I kind of don't care. No, there's so much to keep expanding. I'm not perfect. I'm not enlightened. Am I a master? Am I a creator? Yeah. And I don't care what you call me. I don't care what. I can hang me with me. I feel like through whatever. And when I get off that path, because pieces of me are still not quite here in the wellness, and I no longer judge that. That's it. And that's it. It's simple. And now that we had this expression, we're all zeros, okay? We're all ones. It doesn't really matter. We're all nothing and everything. And now that we've established that, let's have a party. Let's celebrate. Because that's my nature. It's like, where is my fucking party? Like. So I'm celebrating you. Find it in yourself. Be yourself. And when we can come together and share and celebrate. Thank you. Bye.